let's take a trip back to 2008 and do a Nocturne Totem retrospective. So this new game, called World at War came out. It was quite popular. You go through this campaign that's all bloody and gritty and just the most gory and violent campaign in Call of Duty history. You get to the end, you plant the flag at the Riksdag, and then at the end of the credits, that scene rolls, and you get invited to the new era of Call of Duty, that being Call of Duty Zombies. I'm Blackfoot, this is Cracker Factor, let's get into this retrospective. Nocturne Totem was the very first Zombies experience that anyone got to experience. It all started out as just the devs messing around, playing around with like the game's code, trying to find some new mode. It just basically snuck in the game. Activision knew about it, but they weren't really in favor of it. They just kind of let it slide. And we are all very glad that they let it slide, because this is probably what Call of Duty is most iconic for, besides maybe multiplayer and maybe the campaign, but I seriously doubt it. Some things that you have to know is this is Treyarch's first really hands-on, like, their own experience, because in Call of Duty 3, they didn't really have, it was basically just Call of Duty 2 with, like, a new Wars graphics paint on it. And World at War, really, is what made them take off as a company, and it got further on with Black Ops 1, 2, and 3. This is obviously the first video in a series of every map's retrospective, and let's get on to this map's innovations. So, well, this map's innovations was, it existed. This was the first Zombies map. It was just, it basically gave us most of what Zombies is. It gave us zombies, rebuildable barriers is a big one, wall buys, opening doors with money that you get from shooting zombies, power-ups, the mystery boxes you're seeing right here, the ray gun, speaking of, just got it. The ray gun was the first wonder weapon in a long line of many, many wonder weapons, and this gun was not that great in World at War. Its potential wasn't really realized until Black Ops 1, but those are the innovations of this map. Some other things to note about this map: it's been remade. It's been remade and is in every single Call of Duty Zombies game made by Treyarch besides Black Ops 1. It's in World at War, BO1 as a remake that they just brought out, like a remaster. They just ported it, I guess, to the game. In Black Ops 2 and Transit, it's there. In Black Ops 3, this footage you're seeing right now in Chronicles, and in Revelations, it's kind of like the hub area. And not in Black Ops 4, but it was in Cold War on D Machine and also on 4C. So this has been the most ported, remastered, remade Zombies map of all time. This map really just nails the atmosphere, There's no other Zombies map like this. So Verrückt is pretty similar, but this you're just like these military people trapped in a bunker as zombies slowly creep in, and the only thing you can do is die. Like, that's the only escape, if you know what I mean. But I'm sure we're going to be seeing this map many a time in the future, and we will continue to see it, because it is actually a glorious map. Overall, I give it a 6 out of 10 for its performance. There's not that much more else we can say about this map, other than it nailed the atmosphere. It's the first Zombies map in a very long line. We'll get to Verrückt next, but for now, Nocturne Totem is the start of Call of Duty Zombies. Coming off the success of Nocturne Totem, the developers at Treyarch knew they had to follow it up and innovate, otherwise the mode would become stale and lifeless. So they added perks to Verrückt. That is the greatest innovation. This is Blackfoot on Cracker Factor. Welcome everyone to the Verrückt retrospective. This is the second episode in the series. We're going to be doing every single Treyarch Zombies map, and maybe non-Treyarch if you guys really want it, but yeah, mainly just Treyarch, because I don't really like the non-Treyarch, so we're just going to do Treyarch. But Nocturne Totem, this has got to be the most terrifying map in all of Zombies. The Chronicles one isn't as terrifying, but it still has that dentist cherry strike. That thing gives me shivers. That thing's horrifying, and there's just random screaming everywhere. The Easter egg song is terrible, let's be honest, but it's still something. And they added a nice little Easter egg, another Easter egg song for Chronicles, which is nice. They did that for all the World at War maps. But Verrucht innovated in several ways. First and foremost, obviously, the addition of perks. And second off, the introduction of actual characters, not just Marines. You had Tank Dipsy, Johnny Bananas, Peter McCain, and then one other person that's not important in any way. So this map, it had a couple issues, such as the freaking water, like the little water drip as it goes into your eyes. But this was really when people were like, this is something. Like with Nocturne Tone, just seemed like a little Easter egg. But in the first DLC, they released a new map. I don't know if people were expecting that back in 2008, but yeah, that's insane. This is the first DLC Zombies map, the first Zombies map you had to pay for. And is it worth it? Yes, it is worth it. This is a fantastic map. And it has that little room over there that in Chronicles has the bootlegger, but it has the bar, the deployable bar in there, and it's the most expensive gun in World at War Zombies, and it's probably the worst. I think it might have been the most expensive in all of Zombies up until BO4, where everything got extremely expensive, and I have no idea why. But Verrucht, it also added the first trap, which was extremely helpful in several ways. First off, it made high rounding much easier if you were a noob. You could just turn on trap, instantly kill all the zombies, not have to rely on the flamethrower or the ray gun or whatever you'd use. But somehow the high round isn't as high, and that's because there is no space to train on this map. Basically, if you get stuck, you're dead. You can't do anything. And the addition of Gobblegum, it made this map a lot easier on Chronicles. It's actually one of the easiest maps to get to high rounds on Chronicles now. I don't know why, it's just whenever I play it, I demolish the zombies. So the four perks, sorry, that they added for Verrucht. Quick Revive, Speed Cola, Juggernog, and Double Tap. Quick Revive was basically completely useless. Actually, it was completely useless on solo, but on co-op you could revive your teammates faster, and that's it. Then Juggernog was a staple, and in this and Shino Numa, it was overpowered. You would heal twice as fast, and you would gain, I think, like 2.5 times their health. It was crazy. Speed Cola obviously made you reload faster, and Double Tap made you shoot faster, which a lot of people say just waste your bullets. With some guns it does, but especially with semi-auto and bolt action, it's actually really good. And I guess burst, and like LMGs and stuff of that manner. But obviously the main perk that people cared about was Jug, and you could really just use Jug and Speed Cola, and you kind of just waste points on the other perks, I'm gonna be honest. This map was literally when Zombies was formed. Nocturne Totem was the first, but that was just a little side thing. But this took it to a whole new level. It's based on the multiplayer map Asylum, and it's just, I don't know, people complain about Cold War having just campaign and multiplayer or whatever for their zombies, but so does this, and it works perfectly fine. I don't know what's the deal. A lot of people say that Noct is better than Verrucht. I disagree. Verrucht is a fantastic map. It's really like the actual first zombies map that was taken seriously. And it added the teddy bear, of course, and much more. As you can see, the first power switch as well. Let's spin that mystery box, which we're gonna get. As you can see, I got the Wonderwaff, but obviously this is not in the original. The Wonderwaff was added under Shino Numa, the map right after this, which we'll get to soon. But on the Chronicles, they added the Wonderwaff, and on Black Ops 1, they added the Winter's Howl for some reason. But that's our retrospective Nocturne. I'll give it a rating 6.5 out of 10. It's very bare bones, no pack much. They should have added it for Chronicles. It was a very missed opportunity. Thank you so much for watching. I'm trying to keep the video short because I don't want to bore you guys, and obviously I'm not the best at editing, so the videos aren't going to turn out beautiful, and I want to make them as good as possible.
Shino Numa retrospective. So, this map follows for the first time, the Ultimus crew. That being Takio Masake, Nikolai Belensky, Edward Viktoffen, and Tank Dempsey, as they travel to the Swamp of Death. So, grab your Wonderwaff, man, and let's turn on the power without a power switch. That made no sense, but stick with me. Shino Numa was a revolution in zombies, you could say. The flogger, it was perfect. This, like, I didn't really, I don't know, I didn't innovate that much. It had a cool trap and, you know, random perk spawns for the first time and, like, you know, the Wonder Weapon, first infinite damage Wonder Weapon, but it more, like, perfected what zombies was at that moment. It was the best experience of zombies at the time. In this map, the greatest thing about it is it holds the world record for the highest round of zombies, which is around 11,000 by Corrupts, which is probably the best zombies player of all time. He holds, like, every record in World at War. I don't know if he holds any other ones. I know he holds, like, almost all of them in World at War, maybe even all of them. But Shinonuma, fantastic. You got the first time you see Peter McCain, well, but yeah, you see his arm. I don't know if that counts, but just the memories of throwing a grenade at Peter McCain as he fell down and ended your game magically. I think it still happens in Chronicles, but this map, set in a swamp, it was the first zombies map to be set outside. All the other two were inside, that being Nocturne, Toten, and Verrucht. But this was the first outside, and Chronicles made it actually like day. And this one, in World at War, it was kind of disgusting. Like, there's maggots everywhere. It was very atmospheric with the swamp. First Japanese map, first map out of Germany. I think, like, Nocturne Toten was, I think it was like on some island. But let's just call it Germany. It's called Nazi zombies. But this whole map, the whole story about it, is the Richthofen taking Ultimus with him to find his diary, which was there for reasons that I don't know. I don't know if this was hinting at Division 9 for Zetsubo, or maybe they just tied it in later, but it does seem very similar, and this is what really started zombies as a story. In Verrucht, in World, and Nocturne Toten, there wasn't really much of a story. It was just zombies, like, makes sense. But yeah, with the Noct being the first map, then Verrucht innovating with perks and traps. This map added infinite damage Wonder Weapon, but not much else. This is what I'm saying. This was, like, it wasn't the biggest innovation, but it felt like a huge leap forward, and it just was significantly more of an actual map. This is the first map where camping was not the main strat. Instead, training or hoarding or I don't know if I can say this on YouTube was the original name, but yeah, let's just you just look it up what the name for training in zombies was in 2008. But Shinonuma, I just personally love this map. There's a few problems, like the mud freaking sucks, and it seems like there's a lot of doors to open for not that big a map. But the thing, this is like the map for layout. Central hub, 4 branching areas. What else do you need? In Chronicles, it made way more sense how they put Quick Revive in the spawn room. I think they did that with BO1 too, because they had Mule Kick. But yeah, in World at War, this map wasn't really reaching its full potential. Oh wait, it also added Hellhounds. I forgot about that. That is a huge innovation. The first Max Ammo round, the first dog round, which Hellhounds are so iconic now that you call a Max Ammo round a dog round. Like, come on. When these spawned in for the first time you played zombies, you were scared shitless. You were coward. I know it. So, Shinonuma, I don't know what else I can say. This is the swamp map. That's what it's known for. It's a great map. I don't have much else to say. Thank you very much for watching. I'm Black Broken Cracker Factor. Tomorrow, or not tomorrow, the next video will be the last World at War Zombies map retrospective. We're going to be doing speedrunning every Easter egg. I haven't even gotten most Easter eggs, to be honest. The first one I did was Moon a few weeks ago. This was the most important map in Call of Duty Zombies history. For one simple thing. Pack a punch. Think of it. Before this, you had Nocturne Toten laying the foundation. First zombies map, the grandfather of zombies. After this, you had Verrucht, adding the perks and traps that carried forward into every zombies map afterwards. After that, Shinonuma, characters,
Ultimate characters, I should say, and the Wonderwaff. After that, all these mechanics put all together into one cohesive whole, and that cohesive whole was called Durice. Before Durice, your weapons would drop off extremely fast, because there was no way to make them any better. But with the addition of the Pack Punch, you were able to propel yourself into, like, unbelievably further rounds. The rounds, every weapon had a chance with Pack Punch, except for the Springfield. I don't even think you can Pack Punch the Springfield, but if you could, it would probably become the most unbearable piece of shit in the entire world. This map was the shit at the time. This was the reason to buy a DLC. Before this, you didn't really have a reason to buy a DLC. They were kind of just add-ons. People treated them as such, and people really only cared about the multiplayer. But with the addition of Durice, people cared about zombies more than multiplayer for the DLC packs, which was the first time that zombies were propelled into the mainstream like that. It quickly became the most important treyarch mode of all time. And without this, I am convinced zombies would never, ever, ever, ever be the same. Durice has got to be the second most iconic map of all time. We will get to the first soon. I think you all know what it is. It's the greatest map of all time. Black Ops 1. But this map, sitting in the catwalk with your friends, putting down hundreds of bouncing betties, letting them take the brute of the attack if you couldn't stand it any longer, sitting up there with your friends. This map was the perfect co-op map. I don't know any other map that had a better co-op. Also, the Flytrap Easter egg was the first Easter egg in any zombies map. It might not have been much, but it was close to home, and it hit us hard. This simple little thing where you shoot this, like, a couple things with a Pack-a-Punch weapon to see the perks spiral up and out. This was the greatest innovation. The amount of theories that came out of this after that was just insane. The Hitler boss fight, making zombies harder after that, making zombies easier. There were so many weird and unsettling theories about this map because of the atmosphere. This was set at the Group 935 facility, where Element 115 was harnessed to create zombies, the teleporters that you see on the map, the Wonderwaff, ray gun, basically everything. The monkey bombs, I should say. And the Giant expanded upon everything that Durice did, and honestly, it made it better. It added the Black Ops 3 mechanics with double pack, gobblegums, and it really laid the foundation for the Black Ops 3 story. It was an add-on to Black Ops 3 as a $5 map pack on launch, and honestly, I think more people play this than Shadows Suit. It was so much easier to get on Shadows, was hated on launch for being too complicated. This was the map to play. And it started the story more than Shadows did. Shadows was kind of its own thing that laid down kind of the groundwork. But this was what kicked off the story, gave it the real kick in the ass to get it going. Like, come on, get up, get up. But this map is good. Ski weather. The perks obviously came back. Everything came back. There's a few problems with this map, you know. Wonderwaff stealing your jug, fixing the Giant. The atmosphere is very dark and gloomy, obviously, because it's at the Group 935 facility, inspired by real Nazi events at Die Glocke, which is completely insane. They also factored in the Illuminati. This was back when zombies cared about real-world events, and they put it together into a terrifying mix of fakeness and reality. It was quite a great map, the Giant. And obviously Durice. I think that the Giant slightly edges it out just because of the amount of glitches. Durice is obviously more iconic as it came back in Black Ops 1 and Black Ops 3 as the Giant. But here's an interesting and terrifying fact. Black Ops 3 was 9 years ago. There hasn't been the Giant or Durice, or whatever you want to call it, in 9 years. Treyarch, come on. Bring back the old maps and zombies. You do it with multiplayer so unbelievably much. Why not zombies? In zombies it matters more because the mechanics changed so drastically. And you can make them so much better by changing one thing in zombies. Zombies became the #1 mode after this. For Treyarch, at least. Obviously not in Call of Duty as a whole. But it really hit the mainstream and it became its own little subset instead of being a part of the campaign, if you know what I mean. But obviously, every zombie map has its problems. Except for this one. The layout, perfection. The zombie spawns, perfection. The early rounds, amazing. Late rounds, amazing. Wonderwolf carrying you. Not really under Reese, but on the Giant. You bet your ass. Everything about this map screams iconicism. It screams play me. It screams zombies. It's the greatest mode of all time. I don't know what else there is to say about Darius. This map was just the shit. Brought back Ultimus. Brought back Wonderwolf. It kind of culminated everything together and then shoved its fat mess of all that into the Pack-a-Munch machine to make it even greater, to upgrade it beyond our wildest expectations. And this is why Darius is a 9 out of 10 in my books. 10 out of 10 for iconicism. The Pack-a-Punch camo with the little engravings. So many theories. So many theories about this map. And if you're wondering and guessing and not understanding what's happening in the map, I honestly think that makes the map 10 times better. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. This was Black Folk on Crack Factor. Remember to like and sub. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.
I'ma try it out. I'ma try it.